Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Ryan Anderson with the Carmichael 327 channel, coming live from the DuckTales Auto Show September 2014, and we're just going to preview some of the old cars that we've seen and have some fun.
Let you do that one more time. Oh, yeah.
Keep in mind that this is a review of the 1959 four-door Edsel Ranger. We're just going to do a brief walk around.
Good afternoon. This is Ryan Anderson with the Carmichael 327 channel. How's it going, everybody? Today, I proudly present this 1959
Edsel Ranger four-door sedan, and I hope everybody enjoyed some of those extra clips that I decided to throw in.
This is a full walk-around tour in detail. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get started. We're going to show these rims. Obviously, this is the original rims here. I could tell this car has probably had some modifications on it. It's probably been repainted. You got the old police siren right there, and you got the old light. A few bullet holes that he modified, and of course a little bit of rust here and there. Beautiful tail lights in the back. I'll tell you, this car is really, and it's, of course it's got the dual exhaust. On the side, called an Edsel Ranger, I believe is what it's called. The rims, Edsel Police Department, that's too funny right there. Looks like he's got the original steering wheel and everything. Your dash is all original. Now back in the 1950s, these were actually the first cars that came out with the power windows and locks. Back then, a lot of people made fun and gave a lot of hell for people who had those kind of modifications back then. Only to find that 6 years later that the Lincoln came out with all these modifications, which now we use all these technologies in today's cars and even more. I believe the steering wheel I believe this has a tilted steering wheel right here. I'm thinking that this is an automatic transmission. And it's like it's got the original dash. However, we'll talk about the engine a little later. Ooh. Definitely pick that back up. Got that little duck right here on the side. But the body looks normal. I believe that Edsel went out in the 1960s, was the last year. So these are just a very rare car. And we'll be talking about the engine size a little bit in this video.
In this part, we're going to go ahead and talk about the engine sizes. The engine size, you had two choices. You had the choice of the 5.4 V8, which has the 3.5 cubic feet. Also, the 5.9 was the second choice, 390 pounds horsepower. And let's see, with the 5.4, it put out 225 horse. The 5.9 put out 303 horse in pounds and feet. And then with your transmission, you had a choice between a 3-speed manual, 2 or 3-speed automatic, and a rear-wheel drive with a control arm coil springs which was the front suspension, rear suspension, was a live axle leaf spring, drums. The weight of this car was 3,700 pounds to 3,800 pounds. Obviously, the year is 1959. The original pricing of this car, and this is very interesting, the price of this car was $2,812 up to $3,072, which today, if we were to value this car, it would be between $10,000 and $15,000, $12,000 to $20,000, and sedan, coupe, and convertible, which could go anywhere from $35,000 to $40,000. So that's also something to be looking at too, and it tells you how much times have really changed a lot too. Obviously, of the history of this car, it was definitely not the most popular car. It was pretty redundant that consumers thought the technology was just pretty much vague and a turn off towards all that, which now we use all these same technologies 6 years later when they came out with the Lincoln. So, in these reviews, of course, you think about all the changes that were made, and that's something that Edsel brought out. Obviously, back then it was not the most popular change around. Meanwhile, we'll take a look at this 1959 Edsel Ranger Villager Wagon, which is an 8-passenger wagon. Beautiful looking car, fully restored. Also has the original rims and V8. Now again, I'm not doing a full review on this car, but just to give you an idea in history and everything else. Now for just a brief history of the Edsel is that in 1956 to 1958 sales were pretty strong, almost next to Chrysler, but from 58 to 1960 it became pretty apparent that the Edsel was not the most popular car in the country due to the turnout of the low sales. Also, Ford lost millions of dollars on these particular car and had decided to discontinue with the making of the car in 1960. But today they are just a fan favorite, and they have definitely left their mark over periods of time, but also with the technologies and the most unpopular things that people made fun of. Now, some of these technologies are used in these cars, which are shown today. If you like this video, please subscribe to this channel, the Carmichael 327 Transportation car page. Also, if you're into trains, you can also subscribe to the Carmichael Train Production channel, the CMT page on my Facebook, also the Carmichael 327 Facebook page, and also enjoy these last few clips of the flamethrowers and some of the classic cars. And thank you for watching, being patient, and look for some more reviews to come out.
1976 Grand Torino.
I like the old